victory in the Kia Soul Center, defeating the Cleveland Cavaliers 121-83, putting almost a 40-point on them. Wow. Pish, you got Goga minutes. I know you were happy about that. Anytime you see Goga on the floor.
Everybody got minutes.
Yes.
Everybody got minutes. You know who didn't get minutes, and I just want to talk about it up front, is I'm really disappointed that I missed out on the UNJ last wrap-up because we did one originally, and my audio didn't take, and I had a lot of good takes that I feel would go really well with this game because all those things that were missing from games 1 and 2 were there tonight. And it's great to see. And I'd also like to just go ahead and extend this nice sign out to our friends in Cleveland.
What do you got there?
I'm gonna go ahead and add this addendum on it and include the Vegas in honor of the Dallas Stars, who are also having some playoff troubles right now. So, yeah, I'm old Grady.
For the listeners, Peach's sign says "Eat a Grady." Cleveland.
Yep. Yeah. You do the math. For the English, I don't know.
Wow. Well, going into this one, Peach, I did not feel great. I was trying to exude confidence, trying to say all the right things, more for myself, I think, than anyone else. Cleveland didn't do anything by just winning the home games. That's what they're supposed to do. We're coming in, role players got to play their roles at home. And they did. But, man, I don't know if I was prepared for this Paulo Banchero game. He dropped 31 on these guys, 31 points on 50% from the field. I mean, he was just doing whatever
only
he wanted.
29 minutes.
Yes,
He
29
didn't even
minutes.
play the fourth quarter.
For a while there, it didn't look like he was going to miss. Like in the third quarter there, he just could not miss getting to the mid-range, doing anything he wanted over either shoulder. He adds, 14 boards and 5 assists to that? Man, like the first 2 games, Peach, I was a little worried. I had this very evil thought in the back of my mind thinking, these are young guys. Are they showing us that they're not built for the moment? Because we really collapsed in Cleveland. We acted like we didn't know what we were doing. But man, oh man, did they come back and say, no. We are made for this moment. And this has really reinvigorated my confidence in the squad, Peach.
Well, eventually, they started 1 of 11. So don't forget that this was also a really terrible start. But our defense has consistently been there in all 3 of these games. And this is the difference of when we can actually bring some offense to the table to back that up. We talked about it. You and Jay talked about it. It's like we got Franz, we got Paulo. They're going to do stuff. We needed a third body to get in there. Tonight, that man's name was Jalen Suggs. That guy was playing on a different level, almost like he knew he had to do something. He had to prove something. He had to be that extra guy. And boy, was he. He was all over the place, doing all the things. And, it was one of those games where it was just like, where has this shooting been? Like, can we save some of this for game 4 at this point? Because, like, all of a sudden now all the shots are falling. And, I was disgusted, honestly, watching the first 2 games. Like, our offensive output was just offensive.
It was gross,
frankly. Yeah, it was gross. I hated watching it. Like, it made me hate basketball. Like, I disliked it. So, and this one was like almost so comically the other way that I'm like, well, this isn't basketball either. We're just killing these teams. This team sucks. Like, how do we lose 2 games to this team? But like I said before, which didn't get heard, but I wasn't impressed with Cleveland even in those 2 wins. It was more us not being able to hit shots. Because we were getting open looks. They just weren't falling. And our defense was playing really well. They let us stay in that game too. They should have won that game by 30 or 40 points. But for some reason, we only lost by 10, which seems absurd to me. So I think that the guys' spirits were high because we were coming home with, again, nothing really for us to lose. I don't think a lot of people picked us to win this series. I think it's a coin toss. I think, we're just looking to get the playoff experience here, and this is a great one for everybody at home, and a special shout-out to anybody who was there in the building. I know Jay was there in the building.
Yep, Raph.
We know lots of people who were there.
Yep.
You guys have waited a long time for a team to cheer for in the playoffs that you think actually has the balls to do something, and I'm so glad for all of you that you got the opportunity to do that, because That and they came. They brought it,
Yes.
and they asked for your cheers, and you gave it to them. And there probably wasn't a lot of people from Cleveland there buying up tickets, so it was a dream scenario. And I'm really happy for all the people of Orlando. And you got another game 4 coming up, and hopefully more from there on.
Oh man, I could feel the energy through the screen piece. Shout out to everyone who was in the building, getting that energy high. And as Jalen said in the post-game interview, the team fed off it. And maybe no man more so than Jalen Suggs. He led this, like the urgency of the Orlando Magic early. Like you said, the shots weren't falling, but man, we were getting into guys, crashing the boards. Paulo early had like 3 or 4 offensive rebounds, which, yeah, they weren't falling, but we were crashing. We were fighting for every board, getting second chance opportunities. I'm going to try to look it up when you're talking next, but we must have destroyed them on the second chance opportunities. And I think that was a huge difference in this game. Just giving you some of the things. I mean, we returned to our average, and that's why the first 2 games were so frustrating, because we looked like a completely different team. We shot 35% from beyond the arc. It felt like we were world beaters, but that's our average on the year. We're 35% from beyond the arc shooting team. So I'm glad that the team had confidence, thinking to themselves, hey, we held this team to under 100 points both times, and we just gave it away. And let's just do our thing. Let's be confident and bring this back. And again, it speaks volumes to how wise beyond their years this team is, being able to bounce back in this way in a tough spot, man. Your back's against the wall. You can either crumble in that moment or you can fight like a rabid dog with its back to the wall. And we certainly came out and put it to him. Even Mermaids was going crazy, dude. I don't know if you heard his interview out of halftime. He's like, yeah, we've got to put our, Mermaids normally sounds like a chill surfer from California. He's like, yeah, we got to put our fucking foot on their throat and not let up. We got to make it a living nightmare in front of. That was his words on a live mic.
He used that phrase.
Yes.
I thought that phrase all game long, where I was like, this is so refreshing to see a team up destroying, and instead of letting the other team come back, we stepped down on their neck and we let them stop breathing. We didn't tell them our evil plan. We just said, no, we're winning now. We're dropping you in the vat of lava and you're dying. And it was excellent because we didn't have to see our starters. We didn't have to see Suggs throwing himself around all over the floor like a court mop. We did unfortunately have to see way too much of George's Niang, who, by the way, his original name was George, but then he's so fat they decided to add that S on there because he's clearly 2 people. Wow. The man is built like Grimace. He's built like Grimace of McDonald's land, if you're familiar. He's got to be part of that family chain of somehow. So maybe they're cousins. I don't know.
Well, we can have him on the show, Pete.
Food court cousins. Speaking of food, though, Paulo, like you said, he was cooking tonight, so much so that he wasn't like preparing dinner for the whole family. He was like trying to get his own cooking show on Food Network. I mean, that's how much you could see he was feeling it. He was making shots. He was talking to the crowd, and it was like, this is that starve moment that like other people need to see, to be like, oh, Orlando whooped up on Cleveland. Oof, man, he scored that many points in just 3 quarters, and look at how confident he's just nailing shots from all over the place. Not even high percentage places, just making open shots and being that young star that like needs to bring the eyes to the team. And then of course you got other guys stepping up around him, which wasn't there in the first 2 games, to help make an impact and get us over the hump in a big way. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I'll hop in right there. The bench finally coming through for us and doing some things that we desperately needed. Cole has 10 points in this one. Markelle with a nice game, 11 points, 4 of 6. J.I. added 8, although he didn't come off the bench. Or did he? No, he did. Yeah, he did come off the bench today. That was a switcheroo from Mosley. That was, we may have to see some more of that as we move forward. I like the energy that he brings. Jonathan Isaac ends up playing 16 minutes. He has 8 points. So that's what we need. We need a little bit of pop from the bench. Karis LeVert on their team for a little while was trying to do things to us, but thankfully the Orlando Magic stopped that emphatically. Let's see, what else did I want to bring up here? Just looking, I mean, we won the boards 51-32, had only 9 turnovers in this game, in something that has been a little bit of a trouble spot. Paulo with a bunch of, turnovers, But as you said, he was not going to lose this game. He comes out early in the first quarter, and I kind of was taken aback a little bit because early they showed he took 13 shots in the first quarter. Like he was not being shy. He's like, no, I'm going out. I'm doing this. I'm taking over right here.
Right.
In the first half, he has 18 shots. He's going to win this. And that's kind of the difference between superstars and just regular dudes. You say those are, low percentage shots for most people, that mid-range, but that's where he lives. And it's only the superstars that you're okay with taking those shots. And I was A-okay with Paolo Banchero taking as many of those as he wanted tonight.
Yeah, and speaking of superstars, the Cavs superstar Donovan Mitchell, just 13 points. Not
Right.
the kind of effort that he needs to have for them to be in this game. But again, those guys didn't play a lot of their starters in the second half of that game either. So they kind of got the same rest we got. I would expect we're going to see a better effort from them in Game 4.
Yes. Yeah.
But to put a bow on Game 3, it can't be said. You said it earlier, but I just want to reiterate because inside stuff's my jam. The rebounding is what really kind of early on. Okay, we were shot 1 of 11 to start the game, but we got some rebounds, right? Like, and we had a bunch of offensive rebounds, and it was like, okay, good. If you're a team that doesn't shoot the ball well, guess what? Follow your shot because you know it's not going in. So why don't you go ahead and try to get a rebound? Like it's one of the simplest things. I'm not a great shooter, so I know when I throw one up, I'm always going to want to chase that sucker because it's probably not going in. And I've got a way better chance of grabbing that rebound and getting a putback than I am running down the other side of the floor and looking to get another steal or something like that. Like they were sometimes too concerned with defense to worry about getting more offense. But today they did both amazingly. So it was like, well played. And I love that to see that kind of hustle because when I see our team not being able to score, balls going around the perimeter, shot, nobody goes in to try to, nobody's even in the paint when the ball hits the rim, and we're missing all those shots. Like that's disgusting offense. Nothing's going right, and it's like, this is just terrible. And today, the complete opposite. I gotta if I'm gonna keep it real, I just gotta say I don't think how the rest of the games are gonna go this well. So let's tamp it down a little bit. That was what happens when everything is working, and that doesn't happen that often in the NBA playoffs.
Man, I love that we kept going into the paint and just didn't give up because, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, they had some sweet blocks early on. Wendell got stuffed, Franz got stuffed, but it did not deter, man. They kept going back. Franz Wagner ends with 16. He was also shooting the ball well. It's really nice to see him see some shots go through. We needed that. We needed the German wonder kid to come back. He goes 6 of 12 from the floor, 16 points. And, man, again, like Jalen Suggs, dude, 24. Come on.
I loved how aggressive Franz was on the inside, by using his body against Mobley a few times. He got a benefit of a foul call that he shouldn't have got where he jumped into him once, too.
Yeah.
If I'm looking for a low spot here, I like that Wendell was back in the starting lineup because I think he's maybe more of an offensive threat than Isaac sometime, but 2 points. And honestly, like to me, you go up for that dunk on the scrawny-armed Evan Mobley, you're a powerful man. You got to put that thing down. Yeah. I mean, break his arm if you got it, but there shouldn't be, that little arm shouldn't be resisting you two-handed coming down in the rim. Should win a battle with his arm at an awkward angle. And credit to him, great block. But Wendell, I just would expect power that down, put that down. He sometimes he feels like he looks like a big man, but you can tell he's just like an inch or two short a lot of times of like blocking a shot or reaching for something, or guys are able to shoot over him a little too easily. I feel bad for him because I feel like if he was like 2 inches taller, he'd be right there with the big men in the game, but he's not quite there. But I do like Isaac coming off the bench for that fire. And I think at the end of the game, we would have seen Isaac if we needed a defensive closer because he's definitely a better defensive option. But I do like Wendell's ability to pick and roll and pop a little bit better. So it doesn't feel like we're just sticking Franz and Paulo out there and then 3 guys for defense, especially today on a day where Suggs was feeling it and feeling offensively happy. So,
and with the continuity, man, like Wendell's just played so many more minutes with that starting lineup. Yeah. It's a little bit more comfortable, I'm sure, for all the guys. And at the end of the game, Jet Howard, I think everyone was elated to see a step back, like quick three from Jet Howard. People must have been pumped. I don't think we're going to see many more of those this year, but maybe next year.
No, but Jet Howard got in at the end of the game.
Yep.
Anthony Black was in there. I mean, I was watching
Chuma.
the NBA TV feed. It sounds like you were watching a different feed because you got some interviews I didn't see.
Yeah.
But I was just watching the feed, and it was nice to hear them talking about these guys, putting these guys out there. Brendan Haywood was on the call, and he was sort of like he was really putting those guys over and suggesting that, like, look how good this Magic team is, and here's their 2 first-round picks getting in garbage time. Like, they're going to develop and be that much nicer on this team. And it was good to see them play well when they got in there. I know it's garbage time, but you could go in there and go 0 for 4 from 3 and not make a note. But Jet and Black played well, and even Caleb Houston hit a 3. So it was like, well, where was all this shit earlier? Like, we've always needed 3-point shooting, and now it looks like we've got some guys on the deep bench that could potentially fill those roles in the future. You know, when we get to off-season talk, I'll bring up how I think we should go out and get some. but at least there's potentially some options there on the bench. Yeah, it was good to see him in it.
Great to get everyone to touch the floor, everyone to touch the rock a little bit. Pish, I'm always a little anxious about these midday games, man. I don't love it. It's kind of out of the routine of the players. They're used to playing these 7 o'clock games. I'm not really sure. I guess the NBA is going to have a full slate, but the other team's dealing with that shit too. So that's null. We'll see what's going on with Donovan Mitchell. You were watching the NBA TV feed. I was for a little while. You are able to get on the NBA app, Pish, and use, because I at halftime switched back over and got David and Jeff on the call, because I wasn't loving what Brendan Haywood was doing.
I didn't know they were doing it. I thought when the playoffs hit, it goes to those channels, and that's it. I didn't know. Because the first game, they had the WNBA squad calling our game with Cleveland, and I was like, this is disrespectful. I've never even heard of these women. Do they even know ball? I would have loved to have heard anybody else, honestly. So, of course, I would prefer David Steele and Jeff Turner there. That's good to know. I will check that out in the future.
Time. But I know Haywood. It's Brendan Haywood.
Brendan Haywood, former Tar Heel.
Oh, that's why you love. Okay, got it. Now the connection makes sense. I understand why Pish knows him
he played in the NBA for a while.
That's a familiar name. He played some minutes. He mentioned something about Donovan Mitchell looking a little gimpy. I don't know. I didn't see that. I just saw a frustrated Donovan Mitchell who had a Jalen Suggs coat all game. He was wearing, Jalen Suggs was his outerwear.
Donovan Mitchell's always been the kind of guy, if things aren't going his way, he kind of puts his diaper on and gets a little baby act. So he may have been acting like he's hurt just to kind of cover up. Oh, that's why I only had 13 points. My knee's bothering me. Like, he's always got to have a backup plan for why he didn't play well that night. And that's what these are the kind of things that we say back to you and call you a man baby in a diaper when you got to brag so much all the time when you're hitting threes and you're up 30. Like, calm down, relax.
Yeah.
You're in the first round of the playoffs, game 1 and 2. Like, you're supposed to win. You're the home team. Like, have a little class about it. But no class was shown. And so I'll continue to throw barbs at him. I don't like the man.
Well, I did get a little anxious when I think Paulo took him down low and gave him the little man sign. And I was like, whoa, Paulo, I know you're on a heater, man, but let's not taunt. We are down 0-2 in this series. At that time, I think we were only up by 20. I say only 20, but, in an NBA, you can come back. I love how demonstrative the team was, didn't let their emotions get ahead of them, and we got this win. Man, it felt good. I was texting people. I was texting Eric, who was pumped up. Like, it's just great to see the energy kind of rebound from what felt like the Grand Canyon abyss in games 1 and 2.
Fair. I'm feeling the Grand Canyon of abyss right now in hockey, so I totally understand. The playoff fun had died for me. I don't know, man.
Are they done?
The Vegas Golden Knights. That's what happened. No, it's 2-0. It's 2-0.
Okay.
So
have they? Oh, and they've been at home in Vegas.
Yeah, we lost the 2 home games. So yeah, it's the opposite of what you want.
All right, well, let us know, Second Cousins, how you feeling after a huge victory. The Magic back in the green. Let's go and defend home court again on Saturday. Pish, man, good to see you. Let's go Magic, baby. Peace out.
Go Magic. Love you. Thanks for coming.